Welcome to Rock Titan Live, everybody. So, here, we've got a couple of guests that you can see right now that you would recognize from before. We got a legend with us, the Fretless Monster, Tony Franklin, and Jacob Reese Thornton. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're
Oh
good.
my gosh, man. So much has happened. So much has happened since the last time that I spoke with each one of you. Jacob, you finally had your album come out, and you've been
Yeah,
busy ever since. Last time we were talking, you're working with Bruce Kulick. Now you're working with the legendary Tony Franklin.
yeah,
So,
man. Really lucky.
yes. So
It's
I
been
don't know
fun.
which one of you wants to talk about how this collaboration came about, but you do a song, from The Who. I Can See for Miles. How did this happen?
Well,
You
initially the
tell
pro.
your story and I'll tell mine. Go
Oh,
ahead. See if
cool, cool,
see if
cool.
they're the same.
Yeah, yeah, right?
Yeah, so the project initially started out as a collaboration between me and my friend Logan Sheppard, who, for anybody who hasn't seen him, is just like the most incredible drummer and one of my favorite people. And so Robert Knight, who you've interviewed before,
Of
Scotty.
course, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was suggesting this song, and obviously I'd heard of a song. I never really thought about doing it until that. So thanks, Robert. And it just once we had the basic tracks together, we knew we needed something to kind of bring it to that next level, and then that's where we thought, oh, Tony.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right. Robert Knight and I go back many, many years. He actually, with the Led Zeppelin years, and then he shot the film, world-renowned photographer who goes back to, wow, he shot Hendrix and
Oh yeah.
the early Zeppelin shows and all that, the Whiskey a Go-Go, before they were even known. So he's been a dear friend, but as well as that, he has a side to him where he has had and continues to have an eye for spotting new and upcoming talent. He has this thing called the Brotherhood of the Guitar,
Yeah.
and which you probably know all about it, but he's given a lot of younger talent a vehicle and a means to get exposure to the companies and a platform to be able to get out there. And so it's he's like the youngest 70-year-old I know. He has
There.
so much energy and so much passion for this. And so anyway, he called me up and wanted to see if I'd be interested in doing this. And of course, yeah, absolutely. And to me, it's great because, for one, it's wonderful to see to encourage and see what the younger players are doing, and the fact that Jacob and Logan they're playing the classics here. It's
Right.
like they're into it, and they have that interest and passion for where the roots of where we came from as well. So it's not just a new thing. They're going back, but putting their new spin on the older stuff, which to me is very exciting. There's such a mine of a wealth of stuff to be drawn on from that time. So for these guys to want to dive into that, and I love what they did with it, what we did together. It was very much a synergy of how it all happened as well.
Right.
Logan is phenomenal drummer, and he laid down the drum track, and Jacob had some guide guitars and vocals, but really wanted me to do my thing on it. So it was given a very open palette, and so it's very cool. And then we went back and forth. So technology these days, it's like we weren't in the same room together, but we might as well have been, because it really was a true collaboration of us working together. And so how refreshing, using today's technology. We got the young, and we got the young in spirit. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, the technology prowess of the youth these days, Tony, it's like mind-boggling, you know? Like when we were growing up, we had to show our parents how to use like the VHS, player and stuff like
Yes.
that. They didn't know how to use remote controls. But, now we got this youth like Jacob here, man. These guys like already know how to hack the Pentagon and everything like that with
We
like their
try, you know?
iPhones, No, I'm just teasing with you. But so I guess, Jacob, last time you had a number of different videos like the one you put out here with Tony for I Can See for Miles, Miles by The Who. Did you edit this up as well? Did you do the same video edits and everything that you did
Yeah,
last?
I'm trying to think. So I know Logan shot. He went to some studio in LA and shot his parts, and
Okay.
then I was with him and the rest of the band rehearsing in Vegas about maybe a month and a half ago, and so it was at Skeleton Key Recording in Vegas, and then I shot my videos there, and then Tony did his, and the kind of just all came together pretty easily.
Very, very cool. Very. Now I gotta ask you, Jacob. Now I know you're a guitar player, but being in the presence of a guy, having worked with a man like Tony Franklin, you thinking about throwing your hat, into the realm of playing some bass?
You never know, man.
Oh man,
He's doing quite all right on the guitar and singing. So,
right.
Yeah. So why would he need to? I mean, yeah, if he's drawn to it, I say bass players you kind of have to be really drawn to want to do that. It is a different world to guitar. Yeah, right, Jacob. You give me your take on that. It is a different world.
No, 100%. Yeah, especially the fretless stuff that you do, man. That's complete. I don't know.
Well, that's maybe we'll do another one. I'll something else, and I'll do
man,
on the next
definitely.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of fretless, because Tony Franklin is the Fretless Monster, I've noticed that a number of the basses you've been playing lately, Tony, they have frets. What's going on?
Well, it's all about the music for me.
Okay.
It always has been and always will be. It's like you're probably referring to the gigs I did with Jason Bonham and Led Zeppelin evening thing. Well, come on, it's Led Zeppelin, it's John Paul Jones. It needed to be fretted bass for the sound. I mean, I could have done it on the fretless bass.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been true to the music. And of all the Led Zeppelin bands out there, I omitted the word tribute, even though I thought it.
Right.
It's because they are beyond tribute. They really get inside the music and start channeling it. I mean, Jimmy Sakurai and Jason Bonham are two walking encyclopedias of Led Zeppelin, of not only certain performances, but every performance of every year, every tour they've done. And they can not only know it, they can draw upon it. And so, for me, it was the decision to do it on Freddie because it was right for the music. And this song, it felt like it was right too. It was just the sound and everything. So, then I thought afterwards, should I have done it on the fretless bass? It might have been cool, but that's why
there'll be more.
We should do another one.
There'll be more songs to come. Maybe I don't know. One thing that might be cool. I can't help myself but to try to plant seeds sometimes, in the mind of the artist, because you never know. I did it with Carmine when we were talking the other day, Carmine Apiece, that is. But I know that, obviously, Tony, you just recently played with Jason Bonham, and you also are pretty heavily involved in the Think experience with a friend of ours, Scott Page.
Yes, yeah, playing Pink Floyd stuff to this trippy 3D 360 surround show that is so mind-blowing that I cannot watch it while I'm playing because otherwise I'll lose my place in the music. It's phenomenal. But yes, you're right. I'm doing that on fretted bass too, and it really needs it too. It's Pink Floyd, and so I could do it on fretless. But here's the thing with fretless as well. You really have to know the material inside and out, and it does have its own voice. So that if you really have to nail it. You can't be like hesitating on the fretless, and so. I think I maybe was underestimating myself with knowing that material because you really have to be able to just own it and get inside it. And I don't know. It was the decision that was made for that, and I still stand by it, and it still sounds good. Hey, I play a lot of Fred. People don't realize that. It's just I've played like 3 things back to back, so people are starting to get a little freaked out by it.
Well, Tony, no one's going to question you, man. Nobody is going to question you. But
here it is. But this is the bass.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
And okay, I've had this baby since 1976.
Okay, right on.
It's my first Fender bass, and it's until recently it remained to be my only Fred bass. So it's a beauty, and
okay.
So it's got some history. I've done a lot of stuff on this.
Yes, I'll bet you have. Yes. Yeah, but we don't have to dig too deep into the details there. But so Jacob, I mean, talking about some of the work that Tony's done with so many of these other artists, has it, got the wheels turning your head at all? Maybe try a little Roger Waters or, little Pink Floyd,
Pink Floyd. So I'd definitely be down for that. It'd be a fun.
Little Gilmore even maybe. I'm a Gilmore guy. I love Gilmore when it comes to Pink Floyd. So.
Great.
Yes. But, oh, man, I tell you what. The guys that you're surrounding yourself with, Jacob, you are just spoiled. And, man, you're just going to be a junior. You're going to be a junior in high school on top of all that.
Yeah, man, I start next week, unfortunately. But
that's wild, man.
Which grade? Which
11th.
grade, Jacob?
11th grade.
Junior?
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter's just going there to be a junior, too.
Oh, so. Yeah? Oh, cool, cool.
She turned 16 in July, so there you go.
Maybe we got to have an arranged marriage here, I don't know.
That was a little far there, Scott.
Yeah. But so Tony, one of the things I thought was interesting talking with an old bandmate of yours, Carmine Apiece, the other day, going back to your Blue Murder days. He recently got involved with, really mentoring and co-managing a young band. Really kind of giving back and identifying that talent. And, so it's really cool to see an accomplished artist like that really kind of, give something to that next generation of artists. Do you find yourself, kind of in the same mindset now, maybe, where not only do you want to keep making amazing music like you are, but do you take any certain pride out of being able to work with young talent like Jacob? And do you feel any kind of responsibility to kind of nurture that next generation of rock star?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not always you don't always get the opportunity to do it in a meaningful way as well, which this was. And right. But to me, it's like collaborating and making music together is the ultimate. It really is. It's like, and so we do it with a lot of artists throughout our career. But it's really nice because these guys were right there with it. They were open to suggestions and had great ideas of their own. And so, it's not something I've consciously thought about doing, but I do my master classes, my bass clinics, and all that stuff. And you often get younger players, and they're always great to see there. And I always, make time for them and everything. But Carmine's not playing with these guys; he's producing and managing them. So it's a different role, and so that's meaningful for him. So who knows? It's like I like it brings out another side of me as well. That it's nice to be playing with fresh ears, with new ideas, with new visions, with players who have grown up in a different mindset and a different awareness of music. But so to be able to pass along whatever experience I can of growing up with a different understanding of music and the way it was made and consumed, and that is very fulfilling. I welcome more of it, and Jacobs and Logan have been phenomenal. At the end of the day, I was very young when I joined the firm. I mean, that's the thing to remember. Right. I was 22 years old playing with Jimmy Page and those guys were all close to their 40s, in their 40s. And so it was to relate this to that. When you're musicians together, you don't think about age.
Okay.
You're just thinking about making great music.
Right on.
There was never that with the film. It was never like, okay, he's a lot older than me. Because, I was young, so most of the musicians I played with were older. I grew up doing that. And so it's just inevitable. And now it's, there was a point where I went from not being the youngest guy to being the oldest guy overnight.
Yeah, but you're still young. You're still young. You're still young.
Well, no, absolutely. I'm still young, and I think and I play like I'm young. And that, to me, you hear some players and they don't. They're playing what they were playing 20, 30 years ago, and they can't move beyond that. And that's never been what I've been about. So this is very rewarding and fulfilling to me to be able to do this with guys like Jacob.
We really appreciate it, man.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm saying we really appreciate it, man.
Oh, no, not at all. And hopefully it's been a fun journey for you too, because this is why I want to do things like this, so I can help bring awareness to you guys and what you're doing out there, because it's phenomenal. And I want to see them. You got a new breed of guitarists and artists that like to rock, that like to deliver and have attitude, and are not using auto-tune and all that stuff to be able to even do stuff. They're real, and that to me is very refreshing. So if I can help bring a bigger awareness to people of that, then I'm all for it.
Right on. Right on. So everybody, again, we are here with legendary Fretless Monster, Tony Franklin, and Jacob Reese Thornton. And I guess we kind of owe this whole meeting between ourselves to a certain extent, to, again, someone we brought up, the legendary concert photographer, Robert M. Knight, who founded the Brotherhood of the Guitar. And very cool, it's awesome how all this stuff just comes together full circle. Jacob, just kind of in light following up with what Tony was just talking about, in your experience with him, was there anything specific other than maybe just the music that you got from him? Was there anything that you took away from that experience working with someone like him?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of things that Tony brought on the bass that I wouldn't have thought to do normally. Like there's this bit after the choruses. Da, da, da. If you listen to the song, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we got Logan to follow that melody, and then I added some guitar on top of it. So it was things like that, new things that I wouldn't have normally thought of,
Very cool. Very, very cool. So I take it, Tony, that you approve of Jacob's chops then, and just the spin that he put on the song, to kind of make it his own?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And he was very open to suggestions too. On the solo, it's solo. It's a very, on the original, it's just like this this obnoxious thing, and Jacob was doing something a little bit more. I felt it was a little safe, but he was very receptive to that, and so he came up with something that was killer, that was actually beyond what I was thinking. So he's got all the elements that to me, he's got the skills obviously, but he's got the receptivity and the openness to be able to hear beyond just his own little world, his own ideas, because we often get stuck with that with musicians. No, this is my idea. I mean, I'm not even talking about youngsters, I'm talking about oldsters as well. This is my way, and this is how we do it. And to me, it's all about serving the music. And it's like standing back and seeing, hey, what does the music need, and what can I do to add to that? And so I see that, to me, is very, very cool, because Jacob has that, and it's very, very exciting and positive to see it. And I wish you, Jacob, and all and Logan and everybody, just every success, and just keep going. Going at it. You got all the right stuff.
Thanks, man. And I going back to the solo thing, I definitely like being pushed, because without Tony helping us kind of guide through that. I don't think the song would have ended up in the same place as it did. You know, it's a lot better because of that, and the collaboration between all three of us.
Yeah, it was a real collaboration. So that was nice. Even though there's distance, there really wasn't. I mean, it's like you can just the open exchange of ideas very very refreshing. That's why we do it. It's making music together, isn't it? It's not just one person saying this is what we're playing and that's it. It's like make something come together and make something better because we're all involved. It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Well, I'm telling you, Jacob, for your next collaboration, the next record that you put out there, maybe you get Kulik and Franklin together, man. That'd be pretty wild. Get him doing some guitar, and you could play some rhythm guitar and sing, and you get Franklin. Oh man, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, Tony, I'd love to have you do some of the original stuff also, man.
Wouldn't that be something?
Count me in. I'm open to it all.
I tell you what. I'm looking at you here, Tony. And I'm digging the shades, and I'm just thinking, if you colored your hair like dark brown or something, in combination with those shades, you're like, hey, Jacob, he's an amazing artist. And, I'd be like, oh my God. I would be freaked out right now. I'd be like, oh my God, we got visited by the Ozman here. We got video bombed by the Ozman. That's wild. I'm telling you. All right. So, kind of parting thoughts here and everything. What's next? What's going on for you guys? Obviously, this video has come out. I can see for miles, by The Who. Everybody, go check it out. We got the information right here. So, awesome video. But, Tony, I know you got the Think experience that, that you've been working on. And, Jacob, obviously, you've got other stuff. But specifically, what's coming up? Tony, you first.
Me first. Well, I've been on the road for a month or so, and then had a couple of Think Experience shows, diving into a bunch of recording sessions, which for other people, which I need to get caught up on. And actually, going to be in less than 2 weeks, John Sykes and I are going to be getting back together again and jamming a bit, and with our new drummer, Fred Boswell Jr. Wow. And I might be shooting some video. We'll see how that goes.
Nice, man.
Get a little bit of a buzz going out there.
Wow. So. Yeah, I think that would generate quite the buzz.
Yeah, just, little snippets, little teasy little things. And we're working towards getting out there. There was some business delays and everything. There was talk about doing something this summer and his album being out, and things rarely go as planned, but it's still in the works. So we're going to be getting together pretty soon.
Now, Jacob, what about you?
Gosh, well, there's a really cool thing. I'm not allowed to say yet, but we're announcing it next week. A really cool show that I'm just so stoked for. Logan's going to be a part of it, and the rest of the band. And then after that, we've got a bunch of original material that I want to get out there, because I'm constantly writing. So I just kind of want to get that all out there as soon as I can, and just having fun with it. Yeah, man.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, guys, thank you so very much for your time today. And, thank you for joining us on Rock Titan Live, so everyone on the radio waves could actually hear everything for a change versus, just seeing all the visual podcasts and whatnot, which I saw your podcast post earlier, Tony. And,
yeah, what do you think? Should I dive into it? I've got a lot of
well, I mean, you're practically already doing it. You're practically already doing it with the videos that you put out there, with yourself playing and everything. I mean, all of a sudden you start talking to some people on top of what you're doing with your playing, and guess what? You got a podcast.
Yeah, really. What do you say, Jacob? Should I do it?
I'm all for it, man. You should definitely do it.
Seems like it's a medium that's not going to go away, and it's just going to get more expensive. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to dive into it. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, guys. Well, it's been a blast as always, and we will catch up with you all soon. We will catch up with you very soon. We're out.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.